Deanna Jones felt a fog descend over her vision, blurring everything around her. She couldn't see her hand in front of her face, but her senses were vividly sharp. It was as if flames engulfed her entire body, with waves of heat crashing over her. Heavy breathing filled her ears, a man's low, unbearable moans hinting at possession. She tried to open her eyes, desperate to see the man, but she was too weak to do that. After a long time, peace came back to her. She finally glimpsed a firm, sexy chest with a black eagle tattoo soaring near the heart. The eagle's eyes were sharp and fierce, like those of a beast, carrying an ominous aura that sent chills down her spine. Ah! Deanna screamed and jolted awake from her nightmare. She sat up in bed, her body covered in cold sweat. Her 9-month pregnant belly made her movements clumsy and difficult. Old Ashley, who was sleeping beside Deanna, sensed her granddaughter's distress and quickly got up to ask, "What's wrong, dear? Another nightmare?" Deanna nodded weakly, unable to deny it. Old Ashley looked at Deanna's pale, gaunt face with a heart full of pity and quickly tried to comfort her. "What happened back then wasn't your fault, really? But they all blame me and curse me." Deanna's gaze was unfocused as she stared ahead. 9 months ago, she had been the young lady of the Jones family, about to get engaged to her childhood sweetheart, Raphael Howard. But the night before the engagement, she lost her virginity at a singles party. The next day, the scandal swept across the internet. Shocking. Young lady of Seachester Jones family, Deanna, spends a passionate night with a gigolo in a hotel room. Before her engagement, her reputation was ruined. Her mother, Olivia Parker, was so devastated by the scandal that she committed suicide. Deanna's father, Garrett Jones, felt so disgraced that he expelled Deanna from the Jones family and declared he no longer recognized her as his daughter. Raphael announced the cancellation of their engagement a week later and got engaged to Deanna's stepsister, Emily Jones. Deanna became a despised, disreputable woman, a disgraceful daughter. Even now, 9 months later, she still faced online abuse. She had nightmares every night, nightmares of her mother's death, her father's angry tirades, and the faceless man haunting her. Deanna was exhausted and tormented. She couldn't understand why, on the night 9 months ago, she had ended up in that stranger's room. Raphael had been with her at the singles party. Why hadn't he watched over her? Why had he gotten engaged to someone else just a week later? And her mother, always strong and independent, even when she divorced her father, why would she suddenly commit suicide over this? These questions filled Deanna's mind, causing a dull pain in her head and a matching ache in her abdomen. Old Ashley, seeing her granddaughter's distress, quickly fetched some water and comforted Deanna softly. "Don't mind what others say. I believe you're not that kind of person. Here, have some water." Deanna took a deep breath and reached for the glass when she suddenly felt a warm flow between her legs. Looking down, she saw blood gradually soaking her dress. 2 hours later, due to complications with her pregnancy, Deanna gave birth prematurely to twins in an old, run-down hospital on the outskirts of the city. 5 years later, in a quaintly decorated pharmacy in Cloudmere, Deanna had just sold a batch of medicinal herbs, earning a good income. She was in high spirits as she walked towards her car, planning to take her 2 little ones out for a nice meal. 5 years ago, after giving birth to her twins, she moved to the outskirts of the city with her grandmother and the children. There, she met an old doctor who taught her medicine, including identifying and growing various herbs. This knowledge had sustained their livelihood for the past 5 years. Now, her children were healthy and happy, and life was good. As Deanna passed through Middletown Square, a large LCD screen displayed a news segment. Rising star of the entertainment industry and young lady of the Jones family, Emily, is set to marry Raphael Howard, heir to the Howard family. Their 5-year romance will soon culminate in a wedding. Deanna stopped in her tracks, looking up at the screen. The footage showed the couple in their wedding photo shoot, embracing each other lovingly. The sight stabbed at Deanna's heart, reminding her of the promises Raphael once made to her. Raphael promised to stay together and grow old with her. He had vowed to love only her. Instead, he quickly canceled their engagement and chose Emily without offering any explanation for what happened that fateful night. The painful memories churned within her, and she struggled to regain her composure. Her children were waiting for her, and they were too perceptive. She didn't want them to notice anything was wrong. Soon, Deanna reached her car. She got in, looked into the rearview mirror, and saw her 2 adorable children sitting patiently in the back seat. The boy had a serious expression, his eyes reflecting a keen intelligence, while the girl's big, sparkling eyes were filled with softness and innocence. Though their personalities differed, their features were strikingly similar, both exquisitely beautiful like dolls. Each held a fluffy white kitten in their arms, making them look even more endearing. When they saw Deanna, their faces lit up with joy. "Mommy, you're back. Mommy, welcome back. We've been waiting for you for so long." The kittens meowed in chorus, meow, meow, meow. Deanna's heart melted at the sight. "Mommy, did you make a good sale today?" Gregory asked with childish concern. As she fastened her seatbelt, Deanna smiled. smiled. Yes, I did. I sold all the herbs, so tonight, I can take you out for a big dinner. Wow, Chloe cheered, her eyes shining. Mommy, can we have seafood? I want to eat that. Of course, Deanna agreed, unable to refuse their requests. We're going for a seafood feast, let's go. Chloe raised her little hand in excitement. Deanna started the car and drove off. She had bought a second-hand car because it was cheap, though it was old and often used for deliveries. Midway through the drive, the car suddenly broke down, and before Deanna could react, there was a loud crash from behind. Ah! Deanna screamed in shock as the car lurched forward and shook violently, as if it might fall apart. Gregory, Chloe, her first instinct was to turn and check on her children in their safety seats.